Mwah. The jack-o'-lantern. Mwah. Oh, nixos has. Mwah. 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 I have no idea what's going on. Hi everybody. This is kind of weird coming back to this. If you know me, then go fuck off and die in a hole. If you don't know me, my name is Shodan. I've never done really videos about this before. It was mostly about like video games in the past. But I've decided to change a bit of my content output because things kind of changed. I'm not really turned toward that anymore. I wanted to talk to you today about like a change I made because I've decided to officially stop using Windows. I've actually made this change like maybe a month ago. I was using Windows 10. It's still roughly a year and a half until Microsoft cuts off extended support for Windows 10. It's not exactly something that troubled me a lot. As I was saying, I still had 1 year and a half of support, and I was planning on ditching Windows 10 once those updates were no longer being given away. But unfortunately, Windows just doesn't work properly for me anymore. It crashes, it's terrible. It sometimes has arbitrary driver problems. It's very annoying to use. It really throws updates down your throat, and especially system breaking updates. It does not matter if your system will break once you update it. It will just do whatever it has to do. And I don't really like that. So I decided to stop using Windows, and I made a switch, of course, to Linux, because, I'm not going to give fucking Tim Cook my money. So I decided to, and this was like a bit of a controversial change, especially for me, because I had used in and out Ubuntu. A lot of times I had used Ubuntu, Linux Mint. I'm a very big Debian fanboy. I even used Kali a number of months, and it was very stable. I recommend it a lot. I recommend it even more if you're doing penetration tests, cybersecurity work like I do. I work as a cybersecurity analyst at the company I was hired at. It also wasn't exactly working for me. I don't know why. Pop OS wasn't exactly doing it for me. I felt like it wasn't exactly reliable. That one day it was also going to break, and I wasn't going to move to something a bit more DIY, like for example Arch or Gentoo, because first of all, that takes way too long to build. So then I remembered something one of my friends in college had suggested me. It was also a distribution of Linux, but it was a bit different from all the others, and it was called nixos. Now nixos is a fucking banger. I just have to say that it's a goddamn banger. I'm currently daily driving it on both my desktop PC and my personal laptop, which is a T440S. Not exactly the model I wish I was rolling right now, but it works very well, and it's working fantastically, and I don't think I'm going to be using another distro anytime soon. But that's not exactly what I'm making this video for. I'm making this video to talk about nixos itself and how I use it, how I set it up, and I'm gonna give a bit of buffer space for also in the comments for people to suggest me what to do, because I've already heard a bunch of other stuff you can use on nixos to make your life a little bit easier. I'm just not using it right now because it doesn't seem worth the hassle. But if you have suggestions, let me know. So what is nixos? So for us to start with that, we have to go back to what nixos is based on. And nixos is based off of the Nix package manager. And the Nix package manager can be used imperatively, but it can also be used declaratively. That's basically the basis for nixos. So what nixos does is allows the user to take that concept to the extreme. So instead of just doing that for packages, it allows you to configure an entire system just by using configuration files. And that's basically what makes this so attractive to me. It achieves 3 properties. First of all, reproducibility. Basically, what it does is for each package that you install and configure, it kind of sandboxes it. It puts it in little containers, and inside those containers, it installs exactly the specific versions of dependencies that it uses. So you're never going to enter like a dependency hell situation. It's all isolated from other packages, so you'll never have dependency hell situations, and everything will just work. If you install it using a configuration file in one machine, it'll install the same way in another machine, and it will also work. So no more it works on my machine situations. The second thing you'll get is declarativity. The principle behind this property is you get what you ask for. You describe exactly how you want your system configured in the configuration file. You fucking sudo nixos rebuild switch, and the entire OS is rebuilt. Not exactly rebuilt. Everything that changes, like packages are installed, configurations are done, and it's all stored in a snapshot. And that snapshot is actually what gets you the third and most important priority of nixos, which is the reliability of it. Every time you rebuild your operating system using that fucking sudo nixos rebuild switch, it creates a new snapshot of the operating system. And when you boot up the computer with nixos installed, the first thing it'll show you, kind of looks like grub, but it'll essentially show you a list of every time you did a sudo nixos rebuild switch. Basically showing you every generation of system configurations you've implemented, and those are essentially snapshots, and you could roll back to any of them. So this basically ensures that your system will never enter an unbootable state, right? And we've all seen that happen lots of times. It happened many a time when I was using Ubuntu. It happened a lot of times when I used Linux Mint, and I've heard it happens a lot to people who use Arch Linux. And I really wasn't in the mood to be a beta tester for free, so I decided to go to the extreme and use nixos. And now is basically where I stop rambling on camera, which I'm definitely not used to. So I'm going to show you a bit how I set this all up. Okay, so this is my desktop, my home desktop, the one that's on my desk that you saw on camera. It's currently running nixos. So as you can see, I got some packages installed. I don't really know. Okay, yeah. I got some packages installed. I got a ton of them. Um, but it all works very well. The way I have set this up is that I have this directory here on my home folder called nix, and this folder on my home folder essentially has my configuration file and this cool little script here. I'll show you. It's based on, in fact, it's not even almost based. It's practically word for word from a video made by this guy on YouTube that I very much look up to called No Boilerplate. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description because you should definitely watch his videos. But what this script does essentially is it shows me, it pulls up the text editor on my configuration file. Then it shows me all of the changes that were just made, and then it runs the sudo nixos rebuild switch. So basically, it takes the configuration file and applies whatever changes I defined in there, and then it commits. Why to git? Because this is on version control, so that I can keep track of everything. I'm not going to show you the file that's currently in use. What I will show you is the version that's on GitHub right now. So let's go open up my GitHub, and I'm going to show you my nix.files repo. That's where it is. And this works in very mysterious ways. So essentially the way that this works is has a bunch of options. I have also added this one because I needed a way to rapidly configure this file to make use or not of NVIDIA drivers, because my desktop uses an NVIDIA GPU, but my laptop doesn't. So I had to set that up. And basically I have a bunch of stuff installed. I have this thing called SyncThing, which basically serves as like a sort of personal cloud service to sync up any files I have. Basically it works a bit like OneDrive. If you want details on how this kind of thing works, there's a video by James Scholes where he shows the way it works with him. But essentially, the way this works for me is that I have SyncThing installed on my home server, and then every single one of my devices has SyncThing installed, and I configure it to connect to the home server. So it essentially functions like as a tree. The one device will manifest changes on that synchronized folder to the home server, and then the home server tells all of my other devices, hey, there's new changes, and everything synchronizes. So that's pretty cool. Then there's also all of my system packages. I have a bunch of them installed, and I have this just set up so it will install everything I want right out of the box. Currently I'm using GNOME, but I may do like an XFCE version down the line, because I am predicting to get also a T430 ThinkPad. But essentially I get here Vim, wget curl, that's the basics, Git, GNOME tweaks, GNOME terminal, a bunch of extensions like -to-doc, just perfection, the app indicators. I get Discord and Better Discord, Spotify, Kden Live to edit my videos, Obsidian to write shit, OBS Studio, Audacity, Steam and Minecraft, NeoFetch, the Papyrus icon theme with the folders colored green, so that's what I have right now. Tree, Etcher, and currently the Java 11 JDK. There's some things that you may have to configure a bit more in a bit more detail. For example, Steam. I have Firefox. You don't need to configure Firefox like this. You can just install it in your system packages. But I have it installed like this because it allows me to set some policies, like that, like disabling the telemetry right off the bat, but it also allows me to pre-install extensions on Firefox. So for example, uBlock, AdBlock for YouTube, sponsor blocker, search fixer, stuff like that. Then there are some packages that you may install that may have dependencies that are marked as insecure. So if nixos rebuild switch screams at you that, oh, some packages here are insecure, yeah, just put their name in this list. That's what it does. I also installed Docker, and this is for NVIDIA drivers, stuff like that. And that's basically what I did. It's all on version control, and this rebuild script allows me to rapidly make changes, see what I changed, and commit it right in. And that's basically the way I have this set up. I'll show you a bit something you could do. For example, let's say I want a NeoVim installed now. So what I'll do is go to my Nix folder, right? And I'm gonna go to rebuild. And basically, I'll just go over here and I don't know, I'll just add NeoVim. I think that's the way you write it on NixOS. If you don't know the name of a specific package that you want to install, you can just go NixOS search.nixos.org, and you can basically just search for packages. So for example, if I search for NeoVim, it's actually NeoVim, okay. And it'll say how you should type it. So it's actually not NVim, it's just NeoVim. And I'm going to save it. It's going to say that I added that. I'm going to type in my password so that the rebuild can go smoothly. And it's going to take a little bit. So I'm going to jump cut to where it finishes the build. So yeah, and it did that. It finished, it committed, and now I can just nvim, and it'll open up NeoVim. Great. And I could just start figuring out my dot files and stuff like that. It will. I don't know. It works very well for me. So yeah, I don't know. Hi everyone. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. If you have any questions on how to set something like this up, please let me know. One thing that I did forget to mention is that to use at least the specific Nix file I have made, you'll have to go into your base configuration.nix, which is on /etc /nixos /configuration.nix. You'll have to come to your imports list and to find that you want to import that file from the specific path, and set some parameters, for example, enabling the file. If you're using syncthing, set up your home server ID or whatever you want. You can just configure you can just write your files however you want. You don't need to use my dot files. They are made as is and shouldn't be used in your server unless in your home machine. Unless you want things configured exactly the way I have them, and I don't recommend them. I don't recommend that approach. But you do whatever you want. If you have any questions on how to configure something like this, you can write them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Bye.